Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause with the pastor. Spring is sprung. We are now officially in the spring season, and I am grateful. I have a few flowers here to represent that. And somebody asked me the other day about hats and why I wear my baseball caps. Well, aside from the fact that I love them, I just think that they're fun, and I've loved wearing them ever since I was little. Of course, usually then I had a mitt in my hand and I was playing a lot. My mother used to say when I was like 6 and 7 that I was born with a baseball glove in my hand. So, that's part of it. But the other part is I know you can see the glare in my glasses, and there's only so much that I can do with the blind that I have here. And so it helps me to be able to see better. And I hope it doesn't bother you too much. Besides, I think they're fun, and you can always kind of tell one day from the next by the fact that I have a different hat on. This last week, one of the things that I read, which I know you are aware of, is this Living Grace publication of the Assisi Institute. If you are not familiar with it, I encourage you to check it out. Just look for the Assisi Institute. And Assisi, Assisi, as in St. Francis of Assisi-institute.org. And they can be delivered to your inbox too. But this last week they were running a really interesting series, and it was kind of on, developing our enlightenment, going deeper in our spirituality. And there were a couple of sentences there that I picked up from different days that I wanted to share with you because I think they're meaningful for us. It says, one day, I think maybe Monday, they said spirituality is very, very simple. It is the ever-deepening process of opening the door of our hearts to the divine beloved. In other words, spirituality is our childlike consent to God's presence. Isn't that great? Some people will say they're not religious, but they're spiritual. I'm hoping that that's what they mean, that they are spiritual. That's another whole deal, and I may have done a prayerful pause on that. But regardless, don't go down that rabbit trail now, Deborah. But that idea that it's opening the door and inviting God in. And another day they said that when we're discontent with things, that's good because that's God saying to us, I'm here, let's go in this direction. I'm reminded, and I know I've shared this before, but I'm reminded that when children were young in my family, my parents would rarely say, no, don't do that, unless it was really dangerous. And that's how we learned what no was. Most of the time, even as little infants who were crawling, not yet toddlers, they would pick us up and say, yes, let's go over here. They would redirect with a positive yes. And to me, that's what God does when we're discontent with something or uneasy about something. That's God saying, okay, good, let's come over here and look at this instead, and takes us to a new understanding. So first we have to open the door, let God in, and then we have to be willing to let God take us where we should be, guide us where we should be. But there was another day that they said, and this I think is the crux of what made me want to share this with you. They said later on in the week, as we consider what it means to open the door, we must ask ourselves a fundamental question. How much intimacy are we capable of bearing? Are we ready to have God, welcome God, into our lives? Are we willing to have God in us? Are we willing to have divine life and our lives become a single life? Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to change? Are we willing to upend everything as Jesus upended everything? I think that's a big question for us, at least for most of the people that I know. We want to hold on, and then ego gets in the way. I can do this part myself. And you know what I've said before, ego is easing God out. When ego takes over, we are easing God out. We're saying, no, I can do this better. I've got my own way. I know this is what you want. Well, we may know what God wants, but God really knows what God wants. So I guess the message for today is, what do we really want? What are we willing to do? Are we willing to open the door? Are we willing to be redirected? Are we willing to change, to let go, to go deeper in our relationship with God? I think they ended maybe the week with this quote that says, God has everything but our love. We and our love can make God even more complete when we love. It's a relationship, people. It's a two-way thing. We have to be involved. We have to be giving. We have to be, we are needed in the relationship as much as God is. Just a thought for today. Hope that disturbs you a little so that we can invite God in. Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause with the pastor, and I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. Until next time, God bless. Take care. Bye for now. Open the door.